Hey people, welcome to another video where I show you how I formulate a basic body wash or a basic face wash. So if you like what you see, kindly subscribe so you can be the first to know when we post new videos. So first off, I'm measuring out vegetable glycerin, which acts as a humectant. It adds moisture to your skin. So what this does in this phase A is that it's going to also help you to dissolve the xanthan gum, which serves as a form of thickener for your products to make your product look like those you would actually buy from the supermarket or from the store. So here I'm measuring out 20 grams of vegetable glycerin. Next, I'm putting the xanthan gum. Xanthan gum is going to stop your product from looking runny. You can actually do without the xanthan gum if you do not want your product to have some form of thick effect. So here I'm measuring out 3 grams of xanthan gum into the already measured vegetable glycerin. Unfortunately, while I was mixing this, it gave me some form of clumps, which you would call fish eye. But do not worry if you get things like this. If you get some form of clumpy effect, do not worry. By the time your product sits for 24 hours, everything is going to be properly incorporated into your formulation. So here I'm just giving it a mix. You can see those clumps, those fish eye of the xanthan gum. Don't worry about it. By the time your product sits till the next day, everything is going to mix into your product. So I'm giving it as much mix as possible. I'm just stirring. This plastic spoon is serving as a spatula. Yes, that's what I chose to use. It's just very simple and easy to use because it's a 200-gram batch formulation. So I'm just giving it as much mix as possible before I now go ahead to measure out my distilled water. So this is me giving it as much stir as needed. I'm just mixing, trying to get rid of all of those clumps. So I'm setting that aside so that it would hydrate a bit and so that I can So up next, I'll set aside the xanthan gum and vegetable glycerin mix and move to measure out my distilled water, which is the phase B. Now, you want to make sure you're using distilled water in your formulation, not purified water, not tap water, because distilled water has a different effect on skincare products. Now this is my distilled water. I'm just going to be measuring out 146 grams of the distilled water. So I keep adding it little by little, drop by drop, until I get the desired measurement in which I need for this formulation. So I'm at 146.1. So I'm trying to take out that 0.1. Yes, I just keep adding and subtracting until I get my 146 gram exactly. I do not want to go above this because you can see that everything was written down in percent. If I go above the 146 gram required measurement, I'm going to lose the 100% measurement in which I need. So now I've gotten my distilled water the way I want it. So next I'm going to be mixing in phase A and phase B, which is the vegetable glycerin mix with xanthan gum and the distilled water. So because I'm looking for a particular type of consistency, I'm going to be using my immersion blender to mix this together. You do not necessarily need to do this step or this part I'm doing, depending on what you want to see, depending on the consistency you want. But there is a way I want this to turn out, which is why I'm going ahead to use the immersion blender to mix together. So as you can see, the immersion blender gives a thicker consistency. So at this point I realized that I lost the clip where I measured out my Coco Betaine and my Coco Glucoside. I measured out Coco Betaine 10 grams and Coco Glucoside in 20 grams. These are the surfactants that we are going to be using for this. So the Coco Betaine is a kind of surfactant that you can also incorporate oils into it. It solubilizes oil without needing an extra solubilizer. It can be used on its own, and then when you're using this, you need to always check the pH to be sure that it's not too high. So I measured out the Coco Betaine and the Coco Glucoside. I'm really sorry I lost the clip, so you couldn't see where I actually measured them out. So I've incorporated that phase, the surfactant phase, into the water phase, which is what I mixed in. And then this is the point where I decided to check the pH. So I checked the pH before adding the liquid Germal Plus, which is a broad spectrum preservative. So liquid Germal Plus, just 1 grams of the liquid Germal Plus is what I incorporated into this. So if you want to watch the video where I balance the pH of this formula, you just need to click on the description below. So I linked the video where I checked and balanced the pH for this formulation in the description box, so you can just follow the link and see exactly what I did to get a balanced pH for this formulation. pH is very important in your skincare. You do not want to miss that step. So that's exactly what I did. After balancing the pH, that is when I added my preservative. Next is to measure it into a container of your choice. The little clumps you can see are those fish eye that got formed. Not to worry, they are going to get hydrated under 24 hours of your formulation sitting in a place. So in the next 24 hours, you get a thicker consistency, which is the final consistency, and then all of those clumps / fish eye is going to be properly dissolved. So here is how to make a basic face wash or a basic body wash. You can add antioxidants to this. You can use different surfactants. You can use another kind of humectant. Thanks for watching.